to the Passaic County Facebook Live Emergency Rental Assistance Program informational broadcast. The program here, well, this whole program was organized by Impact Passaic, which is a collaboration of county government workers, Janus Solutions, and Persilite Associates. And what we're here today to do is to provide rental relief for rental obligations and a temporary rental assistance program to low and moderate income households that have experienced hardship due to the COVID pandemic. This program is funded by the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan. It started on May 17th when we started taking our first applications. I am here with our County Commissioner John Bartlett and Ron Zarilla of Continuum of Care, and I'll let you two introduce yourselves. John?
That's great. Thank you very much, Sandy. And thanks to everyone who's joining us on this Facebook Live. We're live in English this hour. We're live in Arabic, Spanish, and Bengali over the next 3 hours. And this is so important. I think you said it very well in your intro, Sandy, that, we've got this program, we've got these funds available, thanks to the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan. And this is our opportunity to make sure that individuals and families who are renters can cover their missed rent over these last going on 15 months since the pandemic officially began, as well as going forward, those that have struggled economically have a chance to pay the rent, get that housing stability, and likewise, our landlords who are part of our local economy have the chance to be part of this relief funding. We've got altogether almost $35 million in funding available, and we want to make sure it gets out to the people and the families that need it. So I'm very glad to be here. I'm very glad to have Ron with us, and I look forward to the dialogue.
And I'll just introduce myself real quick. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the chance to be here today. Thank you, commissioners, for all the work you've done to work on this program. And we desperately need it in the county, and residents are struggling. So we're excited to share the news about this relief and hope it's a good fit. If you know someone who might find this information useful, please share this video, which will live on Facebook. And it's coming in, like Commissioner Bartlett said, in different languages. So if you could share it, please share it widely so others know about this timely program. I'll pass it over to you, Commissioner Bartlett. I'm excited to go into the details and answer all your questions at the end of the program.
This is really cool. And if you have any questions or comments, you can submit them via our live feed, and we will be sure to address whatever it is that you're wondering about. So we're going to start with question number one. It's 2 minutes to answer the question. So I'm going to start with Commissioner Bartlett. And the world has been hit with a public health crisis that has disrupted the lives of millions of people. Now more than ever, we find ourselves in a situation where federal funding is critical to the operation and sustainability of our communities. Can you provide us with some real-life examples from your knowledge of the community of those who are struggling due to loss of income from COVID? And
absolutely.
Of course.
Thank you, Sandy. I mean, that question really sets the table. I take it a little bit personally that you felt you needed to give me a 2-minute limit, but that's all right.
Setting the stage.
Look, you know me well enough. No. I mean, as you and I have seen, and all our colleagues in the county have seen, this is an unprecedented disruption for so many people. Last March, I remember still that weekend, Friday, March 13th, I was in court, and by Monday, March 16th, my son was home from school. Our county government had shut down in terms of going there and being there in person. As a lawyer, I wasn't going to court anymore because all of that had shut down. We responded very promptly to the public health crisis. But what that meant for so many people was job loss, and not just straight up losing your job, you're fired, but for a lot of folks who, work shifts and work for wages, whether it's at a local restaurant or what have you, all of a sudden, 4 or 5 days a week became none or virtually none. And I think that's one of the important things about this program is that it defines job loss broadly. If you lost your job to the level of having to apply for unemployment because you had no job, you're eligible for this if it's consistent with your income. If you lost hours, you didn't really lose your job, but effectively you did because you lost those hours that you're getting paid for as a wage worker. Again, you're eligible to apply for this relief. And what we're able to do with it is go back as far as that weekend when it all locked down, that March of 2020, and cover as many as 18 months of rent. And that's important for you and your family if you're a tenant to keep that housing stability. And it's important for you as a landlord if you've been struggling. When landlords don't get rent, they can't pay the mortgage. So we're trying very hard. And you, Sandy, you and I both know all the things that Passaic County did, the testing, the vaccinations, the food relief, the business grants, all kinds of other support that we were trying to provide folks. This is that next step. This is that moment where we help you get back on your feet. You get some housing stability going into fall of 2021. And hopefully with that support and with getting those funds into our community through our landlords, we have a chance to really prevent the next crisis being an economic one for all of us.
Thank you, Commissioner Bartlett. Ron, this next question is for you. Can you explain what the Emergency Rental Assistance Program is, how it can help people, and who's eligible to receive it?
Thank you, Commissioner Lazara. So as Commissioner Bartlett mentioned, this rental assistance program is to help people with that owe back rent as far back as March 13, 2020, when the pandemic started. And it could cover up to 18 months. The focus is low to moderate income tenants in Passaic County. We've made the portal available so that landlords can apply as well, but they will need to work together with the tenant because there is limits to the income for the tenant. And just so you get a sense of, some might ask, what is low to moderate income? What does that look like? For a single person, the max you can make a year in income is $54,000. For a family of 3 is $70,000. For a family of 4, $78,000. So if you make less than those numbers, and we'll add a link to where you could find out more information. All this information is available on the application. So don't worry about taking notes. All this is available on the website and on the application. If you qualify under those income limits, you may qualify for this program. You also have to be a resident of Passaic County, and like Commissioner Bartlett mentioned, have unemployment or loss of income due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that includes losing hours at a restaurant and it's set you back on your rent, completely losing your job and filing for unemployment, etc. This program is also for you if you're at risk of becoming homeless and losing your home. So please apply today. There are other programs, like a state program that exists, and it might be confusing to some folks, and we'll add those links later because that's available as a statewide program. We're talking today about the Passaic County specific rental assistance program. So there is a difference, and there is a lot of confusion over that, and they do ask for different documentation, etc. We've tried to make our program as flexible as possible to help as many people as possible that need it right now.
Thanks, Ron. That's really great. So we're going to jump back to Commissioner Bartlett right now. And Commissioner, the question for you is there a limit to the total rent that can be paid?
You're on.
You'd think after 18 months of Zooms, I would get that right. But now I'm unmuted. The answer, Sandy, is yes. There is an overall limit per unit of $20,000. That's something that we established based on taking a look at the need out there. And really, it represents the fact that for a landlord, if you haven't been paid in many months or a year, first of all, because of the state's eviction moratorium, you don't have the remedy of going to a court and evicting your tenant. But also, even if you did, that doesn't get you paid for those lost months. That opportunity to get up to $20,000 per unit for this up to 18-month period when your tenant may be eligible is a chance to get those funds quickly into your pocket. And eventually the state eviction moratorium will come to an end. People are going to start transitioning. The market is going to become a little bit more fluid. But for the time being, get those funds into your pocket, get that up to $20,000 per unit, and just get that relief and be able to cover your own expenses.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're going to go back to Ron now. And Ron, what about those in our communities who do not have legal immigration status? Are they also eligible?
Yes, as I mentioned before, we've tried to remove as many barriers as possible while meeting the regulations for this program. And you do not need a social security number to apply for this program. So yes, it is open regardless of your immigration status. We also are accepting a wide range of, we do ask for ID and a lease, and we're accepting a wide range of IDs, including municipal IDs. And a lot of people don't have a written lease, or it expired and they never renewed it. We've thought of that as well, and we've created a document that you can sign with your landlord that'll take the place of a lease, or you could show receipts that you've been paying before that on time. So again, we're trying to make it as flexible as possible. We know many folks' situation is very different. They might not have all these documentation they need, but please apply today. It's as flexible as possible. You do not need to have legal status. We do not ask for your social. We ask for proof that you've were affected by COVID. The income criteria I already mentioned, an identification, which is flexible, and a lease, which if you don't have a written lease, again, we do have a document you can fill out. So please apply today, regardless of your status.
And I just want to emphasize that, as you know, Sandy, 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now, as a county board, we adopted a fair and welcoming policy here in Passaic County. And that means any program that you're eligible for, you do not have to provide proof of residency, proof of legal status. Any need you may have, obviously, when it's a legal standard, like if you're going to our clerk's office to get a passport, you have to prove your residency and your citizenship. But if you're talking about eligibility for this rental relief program, or eligibility for other programs at the Board of Social Services, or feeling free to talk to our sheriff's officers about something that has happened, our fair and welcoming policy consistently says, if we don't need to ask your status, we're not going to ask your status. And in this particular case, that means that tenants who are undocumented, or if you have a mixed household where some people in your household are undocumented, that's fine. That doesn't affect your eligibility, and you should absolutely apply.
Yes, please don't hesitate, because it's so important that we are able to help everyone in Passaic County. It's yeah. So Commissioner Bartlett, we know that there's other programs operated by the state through the DCA for emergency relief rental programs. What about that, and how does Passaic County work in tandem with the DCA and the other programs?
That's such a great question, Sandy, because like so many other times, and I know all of us experienced it when we were trying to register to get a vaccine, for example, there are a lot of different places to go for what looks like the same relief. What I want people to know, and I'm going to actually throw the details of this question over to Ron for him to answer, but what people should know is that if you apply through our Passaic County Eviction Prevention Program and you get partial funding for that back rent, that doesn't prevent you from also applying to the state or applying to other programs that may be out there to make up the difference. The only thing you can't do when you accept that partial rent payment through Passaic County is look to your tenant for the rest. What you can do is look to the state, look to these other programs, many of them federally funded, that make this funding available. But what I want to do is actually, Ron is really sort of the expert on the nitty gritty. I want him to answer how our ERAP program relates to the state one that folks may have read about, and to anything else that's out there that folks may be eligible for.
Yeah, so in previous presentations on the rental assistance program, there's been some confusion about the state's DCA application, which stands for Department of Community Affairs. So the application, we'll include it in the chat. Like Commissioner Bartlett mentioned, you are able to apply to that program and the county program as well. The difference with that program and our program is they're running a lottery system. So essentially it's luck of the draw until the funds run out. The county program has, we have allotted $35 million to help residents that are behind, and it is not a lottery system. If you meet the criteria of the income criteria, the document, the basic documentation, minimal documentation we're asking for, then you will have a good chance of getting the relief you desperately need right now, and it won't be a lottery. So we encourage you to apply to both. There is a restriction of duplication of benefits, meaning you can't get relief from the month of March if the state gave you the same relief for the month of March. So we can't pay the same month twice. But I encourage you to apply to both, and they are different. There is some confusion. I already mentioned that our rental assistance program requires you to work in coordination with your landlord. So both the landlord and the tenant can start the application, and to complete the application, both the landlord and tenant have to agree to the terms. If you're having a hard time with the landlord, for example, we have set aside a law firm that could help with the mediation of these issues. We know these are difficult conversations. Everyone is stressed out during these times, and there's people that might need more support in terms of having this difficult conversation after all these months. So we do have a law firm that we've secured that can help you with those difficult conversations, and if you need legal support, we can provide that. So please, that is one of the questions in the application. If you do need help with legal services, please identify that in the application, and we are happy to help.
Mm-hmm. You know, Ron brought up the law, and I want one thing to be very clear to everybody who's watching. You don't have to be in court already to apply for this program. One of the reasons that we set aside the funds that we did, Sandy, is that we recognized that there were already $33 million worth of unpaid rent in the court, in almost 5,000 eviction actions that have been filed already. So we knew that was a fraction of the overall need out there, because a lot of landlords, because of the eviction moratorium, haven't filed yet. But what you need to know, folks who are watching, whether you filed an eviction action or had one filed against you or not, whether you're waiting because of the eviction moratorium, either way, you're eligible to apply for this program and eligible to get these funds. And as Ron pointed out, very importantly, this isn't a lottery system where you're going to wait till some point when they'll either pick your number or they won't. We've already approved more than $2 million to go out to landlords in connection with applications that the landlord and tenant have completed together. So as soon as you're eligible and have gotten through that process, we're going to be in a position to push that money out to the landlord and protect the tenant's rights. The other thing I want to make sure that folks know, a lot of folks, we've got a population in Passaic County that's almost a third, maybe even now a little bit more than a third, made up of immigrants. There's a help number that's available 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, a telephone number, which is 862-657-5797. And not just in the languages that we're presenting in tonight, but in dozens and dozens of languages, because we have one of those telephone translation services. If your tenant needs help in a particular language, have them call that application up on the screen and pick up the phone and dial that number, that 862-657-5797. We can get them connected to an operator that can talk them through it in their language.
Okay.
Now, actually, Sandy, I want to turn the tables here, and I want to ask you a question, because I've been working hard on ERAP, the eviction prevention program. You've been working hard even longer than that to create Impact Passaic, to create this network of nonprofit organizations, government offices, community stakeholders. And what I'd love you to do is put this work that we're doing on eviction prevention into a bigger context. Folks who need help with their rent may also need help with things like jobs, education, social services, other things like that. How does applying to ERAP or getting involved in this program and looking up that Impact Passaic website, how is that a gateway for people to other services and opportunities?
Sure. So we here in Passaic County firmly believe that we cannot just help you pay your rent and leave you on your own. So what we do is we offer wraparound services. What that means is that there is a section, a box, when you go to apply for the ERAP funds, and you'll be able to check off boxes. Hey, you know what? You didn't get to the spot you're in overnight. It obviously the COVID pandemic has taken its toll on almost all of us here in Passaic County. What is it that we can do to help you get back on your feet? What's in that section? You could check off childcare. You know, you're having a problem with having someone watch your children so you can go back to work. We have my gosh, my mind just went blank. Our one stop where you can go and we will train you. And we work with unions and we work with other employers to help you gather the skills you need to build a career for yourself. So if this ever happens again, you won't have to worry because you will have that career. Internet services. We have a utilities weatherization in our county will help you pay your utilities bills. And we know that they can be quite high at times. So what we're saying is that if you mark off one of those boxes, one of our navigators will reach out to you and we will work with you to help you access these services so that you can get back on your feet and stay on your feet. Because in the end, that's our goal. Our goal is to make sure that you get everything you need to help you lead a healthy, productive life. It's so important.
And I would also like to share that the commissioners, there's so many programs and things going on now, and we've also created, with the help of the commissioners, a virtual resource hub for residents and the general public to be able to look for these resources that Commissioner Lazara is mentioning. So if at any time outside of the 9 to 5, we have that number, and if you need help with the application, all different languages, please call. But you can also help yourself and check out this virtual resource hub that's been created for Passaic County residents. You can find it online at help.impactpassaic.com, and you can see all these great programs that we've mentioned.
Ron, is that access to Aunt Bertha, or is that separate from Aunt Bertha?
Yeah, that is the link to the Impact Passaic Aunt Bertha instance that people can access.
Yeah, Aunt Bertha is a great vehicle to help find help, any help that anybody would need or, desire.
And that also has many different languages. So it's not just in English. It has about 100 different languages. And the programs, you can refer people, you can share the contact information, you can text, you can email all these resources. So you can help people that are not so tech savvy by helping them easily search using your zip code, and it'll show you programs within a mile of you, 5 miles, whichever one you select. So it's a very powerful resource, and we're excited. That also launched about 2 months ago.
Yeah, and we encourage everybody. It's just so important that you take advantage of what we're offering so that you can get any type of help you need. And we're down actually to our last question, number 7. Freeholder
Before we do that, Sandy, I see questions popped up on the screen from Eileen Keating-Rieselman. Thank you very much, Eileen, for watching. Eileen asks, how can you help us landlords where tenants are uncooperative, trying to get help or paying? This burden is putting us in a hardship situation. We definitely recognize, Eileen, the economic hardship that landlords have been going through. Ron is familiar with the step-by-step of the process. So Ron, I know that first and the important message for Eileen is that the website is set up so that the landlord can start the application. But what can a landlord do, and how are we able to help when there's a tenant who's simply non-responsive?
Yes, so like I mentioned, there are situations that will be difficult and will require assistance beyond what you and your tenant or the tenant and landlord can resolve on your own. And we have thought about that and know that would come up. So we've hired a mediation service, a local law firm that is able to help with those cases that are not so cut and dry. We know tenants are the program goes based off of the guidelines require us to go based on tenants' income and eligibility criteria. So we understand that this puts you as a landlord in a difficult situation because you need the agreement of both. I would encourage you to still apply, and we can connect you to those services to help find mediation between you and your tenant. But we understand it's very difficult. And some of these won't be easy as easy as just filling an application and getting the funds to you. And we want to provide support with these legal services.
Yeah,
for all residents.
I think, Ron, you gave the key part of the answer there, which is that go ahead and apply. And the team that we're working with, Solix, that has created the application website and is processing these applications, they've got a great team of folks. If you have your tenant's phone number, there will be ways for Solix to follow up, make efforts to reach out. If you're not able to reach your tenant and get them to participate in this, as Ron pointed out, there's the mediation program. We refer it to lawyers. And look, the simple fact of the matter is the eviction moratorium is eventually going to come to an end. And if you're still in this situation with this particular tenant, I got to say, as an attorney, this isn't legal advice. But if you're still in this situation, you are going to have recourse to the courts. And I think, if you're looking to evict a tenant that has been completely uncooperative with the opportunity to get his or her rent paid during the pandemic, that's bound to be favorable to you as a landlord.
And aside from mediation services, we also have contracted with Northeast New Jersey Legal Services, who can act as an advocate for the tenant. So they might be missing a key piece and think they're protected with we found some people think they're protected with the eviction moratorium, but that is going to end at the end of the year. And we want everyone to know that the time will be up on that, and you might as well take advantage of these funds while they last, as soon as possible, and not face lockout and homelessness at the end of this. So please, apply as soon as possible. We'll connect you with either mediation and maybe the tenant with the advocacy organization that could help inform them of the risks of not cooperating. And we hope that you could resolve that situation.
Okay, do we have any more questions? I guess I don't see any. We're going to move on to the last question. And I'll throw this one out to Commissioner Bartlett. How are we doing outreach into the county to let everyone know of the program?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, tonight we're doing these Facebook Lives, but from the very instigation of this, we've been working with the judiciary, with legal services, with some of the attorneys that represent landlords here in Passaic County, and we've been getting the word out every way we can. For folks that have filed suit and where you've got a landlord and a tenant with an active docket in the court, there's been a message that's gone out to all of them about this program with the flyer, and here's how to apply. We've been providing this information through our county social media channels, through our Board of Social Services, and we're going to continue to do that. We've got a great team of folks and some tremendous community partners, as you know, Sandy, that we're working with through the broader Impact Passaic effort. And what I would encourage viewers out there who may connect with people who are landlords or who are tenants and are in this position of need, make sure they know that this exists. When you see this video pop up in Passaic County's feed when it's fully loaded later tonight or tomorrow morning, share it on your own feed. Let folks know that these resources are there, because look, this federal funding has come in. It's an opportunity, Sandy, for you and I and our colleagues on the Board of County Commissioners to get this relief out into the community without it becoming part of folks' tax burden, because we do have that federal support through the CARES Act and through the American Rescue Plan. I'd love to run out of money.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, it looks like he's having some technical difficulties. All right. Well, Ron, do you have anything to add to that about outreach to the community?
Yeah, like Commissioner Bartlett mentioned, Impact Passaic is a coalition of 50 plus different organizations and community leaders, but also the Department of Human Services works with about 80 different providers locally, and they all are aware of this program and are sharing with the folks they work with. The Continuum of Care, which works on the county level to end homelessness, also has a coalition of providers that are part of that. They're all aware. So please, like Commissioner Bartlett said, some folks are not on Facebook. Some folks do not work with providers. So if you know anyone who's struggling or happen to hear someone who mentions that they need help, please share these links and the videos. We're sending flyers to all the municipalities and hope to reach as many people as possible. And we realize how diverse our county is, and that's why we are being very intentional about providing information in Spanish, English, Arabic, Gujarati, all the languages that are mostly represented. So please share broadly.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add that I'm on the Impact Passaic Council, and we have frequent Zoom meetings with our faith-based communities, our nonprofits, and leaders in your communities that we share this information with, because it's so important to us that we get it out there. And as Commissioner Bartlett said, we don't want to give a penny back to the government. We want to make sure it gets into the hands of the people who really need it. Commissioner Bartlett?
Yeah, I'm back. I dropped there for a minute. I don't know if it's the weather out here in Wayne or what, but thank you, Sandy, for hosting. Thank you, Ron, for your expertise. I see one person just posted a question. Judy asks, what's the amount for a family of 4? I guess, Judy, you're probably talking about the income threshold. If you're a renting family of 4, if your household income is up to $78,500, you are eligible for rental support through the Passaic County Eviction Prevention Program. I encourage you to apply, to go online at that Impact Passaic. And if you have any other questions, to call that number, 862-657-5797, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Folks can answer your questions. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, folks there can assist your tenant in any number of a bunch of languages to go through that application. Don't hesitate to apply. Give it a shot. If you need to provide some certification instead of a documentation because you don't have a copy of your lease, or you can't really prove exactly when it was you lost your job, that's all right. That's what Solix and our team are here to work with you on, to try and get you approved if your family is eligible, and for the landlords to try as quickly as we can to push these funds out and help you, do what you need to do as participants in the economy, as landlords, as everything. So,
I'm sorry, but there's two other ways to access the information. One of them is to go to www.impactpassaic.com, and the application will be there front and center, or you can go to our county website, www.passaiccountynj.gov, and if you look to the right, there's a link to how to find out about the rental assistance program. So there's a phone number that Commissioner Bartlett gave you, and those 2 websites. And of course, you can always call any one of us, and we will answer any questions you might have.
Terrific.
Okay. And any last thoughts, comments? We're good?
I
Okay.
think this was great. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, and please share this on your social media networks and let folks know.
Also, and just a reminder, at 7 o'clock, this program will be in Arabic, at 8 o'clock in Spanish, and at 9 o'clock in Bengali. So please, if you want to learn more, someone who doesn't speak English, tell them that it will be on in other languages.
Yep.
And thank you, Ron, John, thank you. It was great doing this, and let's hope we get a lot of feedback from this.
Hear, hear.
Right. All right.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Be well.